You are now going to learn the importance of press releases, how they should be written, and how to submit them using the ASM press release tool. So what are press releases? Quite simply, a press release is a piece of content aimed at announcing a newsworthy topic about your company or products. They can be a very powerful weapon in your marketing armory, and the added advantage is that you have the ASM press release tool at your disposal too. So writing press releases. Now, while a press release is a great marketing tool, you must not make it a sales pitch. It needs to be a news item. Many of the sites your press release will be submitted to do not allow any kind of press release that is a sales pitch. All they are interested in is news items. Now, we are not going to concentrate on how to write a press release, but we have included a PDF guide below this lesson, which explains everything you need to know about how to write a press release. So how many press releases should you be writing? There is no ideal number, but the more you put out there, the faster your brand recognition will grow. Now, if you find content difficult to write, by all means outsource this, but we strongly recommend you learn how to do it yourself first. The ASM press release tool. So now we have a basic understanding of what press releases are, let's look at how we distribute them using the ASM press release tool. This is a very powerful tool, and essentially what it does is it takes your press release and submits it to hundreds of press release sites. Okay, so I've logged into amazing.com, and to go to the press release tool, all you need to do is click on Tools and Press Release. As you can see, I've got no press releases yet. What I have done is already saved a profile, but don't worry, I'm going to explain how you do that in just a second. But you can see this is my profile. What a profile is, it's information about your company which has to be submitted with each press release. The beauty of setting up this profile is that you can use the same profile every time. So let's go and take a look at how we set that up. To do that, all we're going to do is click on Add Press Release. Now, I've already filled this out. Obviously, as I said, I'd already saved the profile. But when you first come to this screen, all you're going to see is select a profile. You're not going to have a profile underneath. So you need to fill out this profile and then save it. But let's go through what you're going to put in this profile. Now, if you haven't got any of the information that you need to fill in for this profile, or indeed for the actual press release itself, then watch the rest of this lesson, then work your way through the rest of the lessons in this module, and by the end of the module, you'll have all the information you need, and you can come back and do your press release then. But let's start with what you need to fill this out. The first box you're going to fill out is your business name. It's very self-explanatory. So you're either going to put in your business name or your brand name or even your domain name. And once again, as a reminder, if you're unsure about anything you need to put in any of these boxes, all you need to do is go to the far right hand side and click on the question mark. As you can see, enter your business name. Next, you want to fill in your city, your state, and your zip code, and obviously your country. And obviously this is very self-explanatory, but for your phone number. This phone number, like everything else in this profile, is going to be published on the press release sites where your press releases are submitted. So you have three different options here. You can put your own phone number. You can put a phone number that just goes to voicemail, so you don't actually have to answer the phone. Or if you don't want to be taking calls at this stage, you can create a fictitious phone number, but make sure it's formatted correctly. Next is the contact name. So again, you can use your real name, or you can use a pen name or alias instead. For instance, you might create an alias for your support manager and use that name here. Your contact email. This is very important. This must be a real email. You must be able to receive emails to it, and it must be a domain email. Many of the sites we submit to do not allow things like Gmail or Yahoo. You have to use a domain email. Next, your website URL. You'll notice this does not have a red asterisk next to it. This is because it's not actually required. So if you haven't got your website set up, you could still go ahead and do your press release. However, once again, you're going to be learning how to create a simple website later in this module, so you can always come back to this later. Lastly, in the profile, we have the About link and the About text. But first, the About text. This is a short description about your company. Use 2 to 3 sentences. And to add a link in here, use the token %about_link %. all the letters have to be uppercase. It has to be exactly the same as this. What this token actually does is it will pull the information from the About link and insert it into your profile on the press release sites. And the way this works is you either include a keyword here. So for instance, in the example we're going to be using, I could put silicon spatula and then the URL to my website, for instance, or to my product listing on Amazon, or even to my brand page on Amazon. You can use any of those. You don't have to use a keyword. You can actually use the URL. So for instance, in this case, if linkurl.com was actually a link to my website, I could then put that as the keyword. And basically what happens is it will insert the link into this box as a hyperlink. This will enable anyone just to click on that link to go straight to your site, and obviously it also adds a little bit of link juice to your site or product page. Now you want to vary this up, so for instance if you came back the next time to submit a new press release, you could actually come in here and change the keyword. You could change the About URL. But you should also bear in mind that in the press release itself you are actually going to be able to add an additional 2 links anyway. So the best practice for the About link is to go to your website page, your About page on your website, or to your brand page on Amazon. And then you can use the links in the main body of the press release to go to your product pages. But that's essentially all you need to do to fill out the profile. Once you've filled it out, just click Save Profile. Obviously in my case it says Update Profile, but all you do is click Save Profile. Now when you go back and now click on List Profiles, you'll notice that you will have a profile just like mine. And then when you come to add a press release, you just click on Add Press Release, and from the Select Profile box you select that profile, and there you go, it's got all that information. So let's now look at the actual press release body itself. So there's our profile information. We scroll down and we get to the actual press release section. So first, the project name. You can put anything in here you like because this is only for your records and basically enables you to sort through your press releases when you've got multiple press releases. It does not appear anywhere on the press release sites, it's just for you. Next, you're going to select the category. Now, you might not always be able to find the exact category you want, but just choose the one that's closest to your press release. Mine's going to be about a silicon spatula, so I could choose home and family or even household. So I'm going to select household. Then check to see if there's any subcategories. I've got household general, so I'm going to select that. Again, it just needs to be the closest one you can come up with. Now, the title, this is very important. This is going to be the title of your press release on every single press release site. You must always include your company name, your brand name, or your domain name. In this case, my company name, fictitious one, is Henderson Silicon Products. That must be in the press release title somewhere. You can see Henderson Silicon Products releases innovative new silicon spatula. Okay, it's a very simple title. It tells the people what the press release is about. Now, the next box is the spin title. This is a unique part of the press release system because this title is only for promoting your press releases on our network of promotion sites. This does not appear anywhere on the press release sites. And you can see it's a spin title, and that means that we're going to spin it so that we get multiple different variations on our network. But it's the only time you spin anything anywhere on your press release. You do not spin anything else. Now, if you've got a spin tool, you can actually select spin options and select your spinner account if you've set one up. If not, it's actually very, very easy to do. I'm going to show you an example, but if you've got any questions about spinning at all, then post it beneath this video as a question, or even go into the community and post it there. So here is the spun version of that title. It's very simple to do. Basically what we're doing is we're including other words that can be used along with the originals. So in this case, I've got bracket, innovative, pipe symbol. If you're wondering about that, you'll normally find it above your return key. And then I've got a new word that means basically the same as the first one, groundbreaking, pipe, and then the original ingenious, and then close the bracket. Basically what that means is anytime this spin title is used, it's going to pick one of these three words to use. So then we've got the next word, which I've got bracket, new, pipe symbol, modern, pipe symbol, luxury, close bracket. Again, it's going to pick one of these three words. So it could be innovative, modern, groundbreaking, new, ingenious, luxury, or any combination of those. I'm doing the same for silicon spatula. So I've got open brackets, silicon spatula, pipe symbol, kitchen spatula, close bracket. And that will use one of those two phrases. So it would end up being luxury silicon spatula or luxury kitchen spatula. And lastly, open bracket, on the market, pipe symbol, goes on sale, pipe symbol. And that's basically how easy it is to do. But the other thing to note about the spin title, do not spin your press release title. You want to make it something different. Because this is going to our own networks, you can actually use any title you like in here, but you do not want to duplicate the press release title. You just want to use something similar. You could even use something like great article about a new silicon spatula, anything along those lines, but always make sure you spin it. Now the subtitle, this is going back to the press release. This is going to appear on your press release. And essentially, it just needs to summarize what people are going to read about in this press release. But again, it must not duplicate the original title. That's not the idea of it. It's something different. But it's just literally what it says. It's a subtitle. It's meant to summarize what is actually in the press release. Next is your meta keywords. Now, you want to use broad keywords in here. And just so you're aware, it's comma delimited. In other words, each keyword has to have a comma after it. And the maximum allowed length of total characters is 100. So put as many as you can in here, as long as they're relevant to your press release, and as long as it doesn't go over 100 characters. And again, use broad keywords, but also use your main keywords. So I've got kitchen, home, dining, cooking, silicon spatula, and spatula. Okay, now your images. You can upload up to 2 images. Now, not all the press release sites will show both of them, but if you've got 2 images, then use them both. Now you can use an image of your product, you can use your logo, pretty much anything you want, but again, it has to relate to the press release. And all you do is click on Browse, find the image you want to upload and upload it. Now, it will automatically resize to 300 by 300 pixels. So it's actually probably better if you create the image itself with those dimensions. Next, we've got the YouTube URL. Now, if you haven't created your YouTube video, you're going to be doing that later in this module. But all you do is you include the URL of your YouTube video and then a short video description. It's very straightforward. And then we get to the actual press release links. Now, as I said, you can use 2 in each press release, but you don't have to use both of them. So if you don't have a second link that's applicable, then just use 1. Remember, you've already got 1 link in your About section anyway, in your profile. But it works exactly the same as the ones we discussed in the About section. And there are 2 tokens to use, %PR_link%. Again, letters must be capitals. And the second link, press release link 2, is %PR_link2%. And again, do not use any HTML in this box. The only thing you're going to use is these tokens that pull in the information from your press release link and URL. Now again, don't duplicate the same keywords all the time in your press releases, and don't duplicate the same URLs. Try and mix it up a bit. You've got the opportunity to use 3 different links all together in your press release, 1 in the About section and 2 in this press release body. So use them. You don't always have to use the same links. And the body itself, you're going to include it right here in the press release body. And the word count needs to be between 250 and 700 words. Ideally, you want to be looking between 300 and 500 words. And then lastly, the release date. Now, something I haven't explained yet, which you need to understand, and that is the moderation. When you submit your press release, it goes through 2 different stages. First of all, it goes to our moderators. They go through it, they check the content, they check you're not using any sales pitch, they check your spelling, they check the formatting, they check everything. And once they're satisfied that it's all done correctly, then it moves on to the second stage, which is a manual submission to the PR networks. Now, the moderation itself can take up to 48 hours, and then the submission a further 24 hours. So, when it comes to the release date down here, you need to bear that in mind. If you're submitting a one-off press release, then by all means just use today's date. However, if you want to launch a sequence of press releases about a topic, so you might have 3, then we suggest you allow at least 4 days for the first one to be submitted, and then obviously work from there. So in this case, if I had 3 that I was planning to submit, the first one, I would change the date to the 26th or 27th. This enables the moderation to be done and completed ready for when the manual submission is done, which would be done on the 27th. Now, once you've completed your press release and you're ready to go, all you need to do is click on Preview and Submit. But what we suggest you always do is save as draft first, because then any mistakes you make, it's going to tell you. For instance, this is telling me my YouTube URL does not appear to be in the correct format. And we know that because I just put YouTube video. So I'm going to correct that. Okay, so I've put in the correct URL, and then I'm going to save as draft again. And now my press release is being saved. So even if I make a mistake when I preview and submit, I know I've got that as backup. So once I'm happy, obviously I'm not going to let this go through and be actually submitted because it's not correctly formatted. This was just about showing you how to do it. But basically you would just click on Preview and Submit. Okay, there you go. I need more content. So I've just added some random content and I'm going to try it again. Okay, and there you go. And there's my press release. As you can see, it's included the video, no surprises to minions. It's included my keyword. Remember, I had keyword in the link and the URL. And I've blocked out a lot of the information here because I just went and copy and pasted this from another website. And here you go. There's my company name. Remember, I didn't actually include my company name. I just put about your business or brand name. Short description about your company, and there's the URL. This would be where your contact information is. So there's your name or support alias name. This is where your phone number would be. This is where your email would be. Now at this point you can go and edit it if there's anything you don't like, or you can agree to the terms and click Submit Press Release. And your press release has been submitted. And it's taken me to List Press Releases. And here's how you can see where you are. So right now it's unpublished. I've literally just submitted it. The yellow flag means it's awaiting approval. Once it's approved, it will change to green, which means you know your press release is okay. And then as soon as it's submitted, this date published will change to an actual date. And you will know that your press release is actually being submitted. And that is basically all there is to using the press release tool. Now, if you've made a mistake, if it doesn't get approved, then the moderators will contact you via email and explain what you need to do. If that happens, all you need to do is come to your press release, click on the Edit Press Release button, and change whatever it is that they've pointed out is incorrect. So make sure you're checking this a couple of times a day to check on the flag and see what's happening. And if you're unsure at all, then do reply to the support email asking them questions. They will explain everything you need to know. But as I said, that's literally how easy it is to submit the press releases using the ASM press release tool. And this is an incredibly powerful tool that will not only get you a lot of exposure, but will also get you a lot of backlinks to any links you want. So what is next? So you can write a press release about your product and about the fact that it's launching and use the tool to submit it and use your canonical URL for your first press release. However, as I said during the lesson, if there's anything missing that you don't have right now, go ahead, watch the remaining lessons in this module, and you'll be able to get any of the other information you need to start submitting your press releases. But now that we know how to use the PR tool, we are going to look at getting social proof, which in the modern online climate is critical. The good news is we have another incredibly powerful tool to make this a relatively easy task. That's it for this lesson. Take care.